As the sound in our YouTube broadcast this morning on the third Sunday of Lent failed, um, so I'm re-recording the homily, which was our meditation for today. I gave the title to it, Exchange of Glances and the Image of the Falconer. Today, our most important concern is about the coronavirus. It overrides all other issues in our lives at the moment. In our Eucharist, we left the practical implications of it to the notices at the end of the service, after the service. It is a real shock to all of us, and this weekend I was thinking a lot about it. A lot is in our power about what happens, and a lot is not. I concluded that our faith is the biggest support, and it is wise to embrace this sustenance. That is why it is so important to keep our heads above the water. Our Lenten season offers this so much required distance from our genuine fears. That is why it is so good to know that the divine flow of hope is uninterrupted. The wisdom of the Church, the set prayers of our services, the biblical readings assigned for the week in morning, evening prayers and in the Mass, all these are uninterrupted. And it is not an escapism to turn to our Church, what the Church has been saying these weeks, regardless of the present events. Last week we prayed at the Stations of the Cross. On Friday we had our morning and evening prayers and the daily Eucharist, online and in person, and these prayers were very similar to our prayers. These readings reflected very similar anxieties to our own anxieties. They were about life and salvation. And it is so important that we step out of our present feelings and fears and we identify with feelings and anxieties and prayers of previous generations in sacred history. It itself gives us strength and consolation. Through these readings, through these set prayers, we can feel how God breathes both the call for repentance and hope upon the people of the covenant. And we should not miss this contact point of faith. The Benedictine nun of Stanbrook Abbey, Sister Laurentia, captures this moment of contact with God beautifully. In her Lenten meditation for today, she highlights one single moment, and this is the exchange of glances between the Samaritan woman and Jesus. This contact of eye is the birthplace of our own faith and hope in love and love in God. I'm quoting her, "The encounter between Jesus and the Samaritan woman shimmers with the same unexpected energy. There must surely have been eloquent eye contact between this woman and the divine human word who empathizes with our deepest need. In the Samaritan Woman, a poem he published before he was elected Pope, Karol Wojtyla writes, "Within your eyes I, drawn by the well, I am enclosed. Within your eyes I, drawn by the well, am enclosed." In our coming week, let us meditate on two aspects of this encounter. Namely, that Lent has the powerful look of Jesus. Lent, the Lenten season, actually as a spiritual encounter, is when our eyes can meet God's eye. So let us ponder on what this exchange of glance might feel, and what conscious change can it bring about in us. Sister Laurentia suggests removing other things which may be clogging up the interior well, especially busyness and false desires, and giving ourselves space and silence to be aware that we are thirsting for God. She continues, "It can be tempting to fill the void with other shorter-term satisfactions. If, like the Samaritan woman, we can enter into honest dialogue with Jesus through prayer and openness to scriptures, none of these blockages need be a barrier. All can be removed by the Word who knows us and thirsts for our love. The heart will begin to function as it was made by God to do." Let this last part of the sentence be our desire and objective in this Lent. What does it mean when our heart will begin to function as it was made by God to do? When our heart will begin to function as it was made by God to do. In order to be set on this journey for the remainder of Lent, let the following image from St. Francis de Sales assist us. He has a beautiful image describing how love is practiced in hope. I'm quoting him from his treatise on love. And this is the metaphor of the falconer. When the falconer removes the hood from his bird and it sights its prey, it immediately launches itself upon the wind, and if held back by the leash, it struggles with extreme ardor on the falconer's hand. So too, when faith has drawn aside the veil of ignorance and has made us see our supreme good, which we still cannot possess because we are held back by the conditions of this mortal life, it is thus we desire it. When our intellect has been properly turned to consideration of what faith presents as its supreme good, the will immediately takes great joy in this divine object. even though it is still absent, it begets an ardent desire for its presence. Hence the soul utters a holy cry. Let him kiss me with the kiss of his mouth. It is God for whom I sigh, for him my soul does cry. It is God for whom I sigh, for him my soul does cry. So let these two images remain with us and challenge us. The exchange of glances in today's Gospel and the moment when the falcon is set free.